This was so weird. My mom and I still laugh, and it was a while back. This isn't a typical I don't work here, but this lady. My mom and I were going for lunch. She needed a oil change, and I decided to go with before lunch. You wait in line in your car sorta like a car wash. Typically a 15-minute line with a 15-minute oil change. Was an hour and a half line and a 15-minute oil change. This lady pulls in after we do, then gets out of her car and walks up to the car window. Yeah, is this the line? Yeah, oh okay, how long will it take? Don't know, we are third, and there's cars in there already. Oh okay, she walks back to her car. Then 10 minutes later comes back. So, if I go to the store shopping, can I just leave my keys in my car and you can tell them? Maybe because 2 people in our car. I'm like, dude, no, go ask them. I think she went in. Then she comes back, they said no, I have to wait in my car. Yeah, well, how long you think it'd take? They said they don't know. Yes, that's what she said. My mom, that never snaps and is nicer than me. I don't know. I don't work here. Go ask them. If they don't know, then I don't either. I told my mom just stop rolling down the window. Line moves and her car doesn't, so people go around her. We thought she fell asleep. My mom, being nice, told the oil technicians and one went to knock on her window. She wasn't in there. Then we were leaving when they were done, and she was standing in the garage holding a pile of groceries. The end. Warning, there is a bit of this is backstory to help understand the situation. In late 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 tongue cancer. In early 2019 I had surgery to get it removed, basically losing most of my tongue, having part of my left arm to reconstruct it, and part of my throat was removed. That made eating impossible, so I was also given a feeding tube, which is located on my left side of my stomach. I haven't eaten real food since January 2019. After that, I went through rehab for 2 weeks, and then I had chemotherapy and radiation for 6 weeks. My chemo wasn't too bad, being that it wasn't the regular kind and I only had it once a week, but radiation was a beach, being that I had to lay down with a mask on my face and stay perfectly still for 20 or so minutes at a time, 5 days a week, which meant my mom, grandmother, and I were forced to stay in a hotel for those weeks. We are from the south part of the state. My mom and I actually lived over the state line, and the hospital is 3 hours away, meaning we had to stay closed during that time. Thankfully, you can get reimbursed for lodging and gas if you live far away. So we sent in receipts and they would pay us back. Fast forward, I also had a lung collapse, getting a chest tube to fix it, and having it put back in, which it disconnected, blood clots in my arm which swollen up, and a biopsy of my lung, and around my feeding tube, to check places that showed up on a CT scan, making the doctors think it might have been cancer, which thankfully it wasn't, and the doctors did another CT scan a couple weeks ago, and the spots were still there on my lung and around my feeding tube. They wanted to do another couple biopsies to check once more, so they had to schedule it, which for some reason they had to get it approved by the hospital, which we would get a call at a later date. Approved for the Tuesday before Halloween 2019. We head out to go. On the way there, my caseworker, let's call her D, calls my mother in the car. She tells my mom to get reimbursed for our trips. They need a 7-day notice to do so. They didn't give them a notice in the right amount of days, only 4 days notice, so we might not get paid back. After we get back from the trip, D and my mother were talking on the phone. D tells her that she tried to get them to pay, but she had no luck. Then she had the audacity to say to my mom, maybe you can get them to do it by calling them. Now, you might be thinking, why hadn't I been talking to her, which I can talk well over the phone, to where they would understand me, and my mom had took secretary classes, or whatever in college. She does things of that nature. I was annoyed by D basically wanting my mother to call and get this taken care of. One being that my mother didn't make the appointment, the hospital did, which made them not have enough days. 2, we had been going appointments for half a year, paying out a bunch of money to travel and stay in their city, and for my mother and whoever at the time was with us to eat, and having to deal with my body problems, feeding tube leaks, me being malnourished, the pain I have all over, etc. 3, it was D's fine job to fix it, not ours. but my mother doesn't make a fuss with doctors and people that are helping me recover, so she calls other people. This works out poorly. One number says call this number, the next says call this number, then one number said call this number and have them do something and then call me back. Let's just say my mother gave up after that last number and just settled with it. Being the one that had to deal with cancer and the annoying recovery that has come with it, I wish I could talk on the phone to I'd come back. After being told to call for her with that's fine, I will surely do your mother fine job, seeing that you're incompetent, or should I say a lazy but bitch that can't do her fine job. Though I should say that paycheck you somehow magically get will now go into my damn bank account, since a dip crap like you doesn't deserve it, since you're being a lazy bitch, not trying harder at your fine job. Since that can't happen though, I thought I'd post my story here after seeing our IDontWorkHereLady videos on YouTube. Hopefully this biopsy I got won't be more cancer, so wish me luck. Like most of the East Coast and Midwest, my city's temperature dropped last night. This morning I start to leave for work when I see that fun light telling me one of my tires is low. So I head over to the gas station, pay for my air, and start filling up my tires. As soon as I start checking my tires, cute little miss can't be wrong, demanding that I quickly fix her tires as they are low, and she's already behind schedule. I'm normally an easygoing person, but it's 6 AM, below freezing, 30°F, and I nursing one hell of a hangover. For those of you who are wondering, no, I do not live in a state where you cannot pump your own gas. For those of you who don't know, it can be dangerous to overinflate or drive on underinflated tires, i.e. cause a wreck or blowout. So I tell her I don't work here. If she needs to get air, she can wait until I'm done, pay and fill up her tires herself. If she wants me to fill up her tires, it will be $300. Amazingly, she doesn't seem affected by what I said and pulls the cash out of her purse. She hands me the cash. I tell her I'm moving my car up and to pull into where I'm parked. Somehow I was able to top up all her tires and mine, all in the same airtime purchase. You get like 3 minutes of air tank usage when you buy air at my local gas station. After checking all her tires, I tell her she's good to go and she leaves. I go back to my car, call into work, and take a personal day. Thanks little miss, can't be all bad. Because of you I was able to sleep off my Halloween hangover. So today, I was at JCPenney with my mom and brother. I usually stay by my mom because I have social anxiety and GAD, so I don't like going off on my own in any public area. I walked to the men's section to look for some button-up shirts for myself, MF 16, wanting to try to be by myself in public for once. A middle-aged Karen walked up to me, which immediately made my heart race. I was wearing black skinny jeans, a My Chemical Romance shirt with a black and pink striped long sleeve shirt underneath, which is nothing close to the JCPenney employee uniform. Karen will be K, I will be me. K walks over to me, speaking very quietly. Do you work here? Me. What? K. I said, do you work here? Me. No. K. Well, you obviously must work here. You're a lady hot looking through the men's clothes. Do you have a scanner? Me. Holy crap. I told you I don't work here. I then run off to my mom, shaking quite a bit and a little bit embarrassed about the whole experience. I don't know why she would mistaken a 16-year-old emo kid as an employee. I work in an IT firm, and we have an office in a penthouse of a 30-floor building. I usually just use the express elevator, 2230, to skip of the lower floors. But one day, the building decided to put an elevator attendant, and I had a weird encounter. You're not allowed to use this elevator, the attendant said with a soft yet stern voice. Sorry? I responded. I'm quite confused. All employees must use the service elevator, she explained. BTW, the service elevators are behind the building. I had to go out again and enter from the rear entrance. I had never used it before, but I heard it's supposed to stop on every floor for the whole 30 floors. But this is a commercial building. Everyone going up these elevators are employees, unless maybe I'm the owner, but then I would use the VIP elevators instead. I chuckled a bit. I just found it interesting. But I think I managed to hit a nerve cause she raised her voice in response. Don't be such a smartass. Move along or I'll report you to your station. She took her walkie and threatened to phone me in. Okay. I didn't want to have any confrontation early in the morning, so I just stepped back. I'm a little early today, and so I just went to the lobby and asked a staff from the front desk if they changed some rules regarding the elevators. Told her my story. I don't want to be breaking any new rules, but isn't it harsh to force us to use service elevator? Also, we never even received any notice. I told her as soon as I finish my story. We got strict new rules implemented regarding our elevator policy. May I see your ID? I will call your station manager to verify if your department received the memo. She politely responded. So I gave her my ID. Oh, I'm sorry sir. This is just a big misunderstanding. I'm sorry. She immediately asked some staff roaming around to accompany me back to the elevator and see to it that I was allowed to get in. This way sir, said the staff. Then he proceeded to treat me as if I'm new to the building and did not know the way, guiding me on every turn. I'm quite offended they didn't even give me any explanation. But I just let it go. I used a different elevator and this other attendant tried to stop me again from entering. But the staff stopped her and he whispered something to her. She immediately greeted me with pleasure and apologized to the delay and pressed the floor I was supposed to go to without asking me where. The curiosity is killing me. I must know what really happened, and I think they should at least give me some form of explanation. Gladly, I was the only passenger, so I asked the attendant, what really happened here? Care to explain? I asked. I'm sorry sir, it's just a misunderstanding. You see, we are quite new, and we were not instructed to always check for IDs first. She replied with a quiver on her voice. I'm still confused. It's just, we are told that building employees are no longer allowed to use express elevator. The other attendants may have mistaken you for one. She hastily explained. Ding, the elevator stopped without me understanding it yet. So I just left and went on. A janitor mopping the floor greeted me as I walk by. I greet him back. Nice shirt I said. New uniform he replied. Finally connected the dots. I didn't thought about it at all immediately. Probably because I never had my morning coffee yet. We don't have strict dress code, and I don't wear business clothing. And I'm currently wearing a shirt that looked exactly like their new grey uniform. I see. I chuckled. Note to self, never use this shirt again for work. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.